Hi, I'm just on my lunch break here, but I thought I'll try and put a little video together because I haven't put anything on YouTube for years, and I've been working quite a lot on my Dreamcast project for about 4 or 5 months now, and it's coming along nicely. So I'd like to show off what I've been doing. So I can change camera. Does that work? Oh, it's not going to be a one-take thing. Okay, I'm on Windows 11, so I'm using Dream SDK 4. I'm using the offline versions of Callistios and the ports and stuff, just because I found that the bleeding edge ones, sometimes they would introduce breaking changes, and I'd have to try and keep my project up. I'm also using the FATFS add-on from SWAT, and I've had to actually stick that to the second most recent version now, and I'll be staying with that because I think there's been a change to fit in with a change to Callistios. So yeah, I'm locked in on that too. So I'm doing my work in code blocks, which is a bit of a throwback. I think that was what I used about 10 years ago when I first tried to make something on the Dreamcast. And obviously IDEs have moved on a bit. You don't have built-in AI assistant or anything here, but it's fine because it makes me look at the code that I'm plugging in here properly. I'm not going to pretend I'm not using AI for some of it. Yeah, everything sort of gets reviewed before it goes in. This is a bad example of what's on the screen now because this is quite fresh. There's probably still some M- comments in there. So yeah, the way I've been working. So yeah, I started this project knowing that I'd made things on the Dreamcast before, but I'd always got something onto the screen, got really excited, and then hacked away, adding and not building a solid foundation for the game to sit on top of and be scalable. So this time, I've asked ChatGPT when I started, write me a load of tickets for building a stable but minimal game engine, and then I've just been working through the tickets one at a time. So I've been adding in all of the things that you might forget about whilst you're getting the graphics and stuff onto the screen in the first place, and then realise that there's actually loads of work to do after the fact. So I'm hoping this should allow me to grow this quite quickly. I've vibe coded a couple of tools along the way whilst I've been doing this. So I did find that the PC file system redirection stuff, it wasn't working for me and I couldn't get it working. So I bought a Toshiba Flash Air SD card. If you don't know, they're the ones with Wi-Fi inside. And I've put that in my Kaiku SD reader over on the Dreamcast. And I'm using that to load everything from. So yeah, this is just a command line utility that will mirror a folder on my computer to the SD card over Wi-Fi. And I've also got this other one, another command line utility, and this builds the pack files, which is where I keep all of my assets. And then all I've done is I've added to the build in code blocks, to the code blocks project, a couple of steps. It will run SD sync here. Yeah, that's just for the debug version. Yeah, so it will pack what's in the assets directory into the pack file, and then if it's a debug one, it will run the sync SD, and then I've put something in the config. So instead of writing my directories out, I'm just using SD for debug builds, and then it will be CD for the real thing. So before a build, it tries to sync the assets folder. It builds the pack, it tries to sync the assets folder over to the Dreamcast. So it's made for quite a tight debug loop because I can change up my assets whilst I'm working as well, which is nice. I'd never used Blender before starting to do this. I just asked ChatGPT, generate me a robot mesh. Obviously it made something a bit squarer and a bit more broken than this. Then I imported it into Blender and learned some of this again just by asking ChatGPT every time I got stuck. Big fan of the AI at the moment. and then textured him, and I've made a bunch of different poses which we can flip between in the game. My other hobby is DJing. I made this tune last year. I've got this put onto a record, but I'm hoping to make a bunch more music to put in the game as well.
Full effect, rock to the rhythm, rock to the rhythm. Full effect, rock to the rhythm, rock to the full effect.
Let's get on to the project though. I'm blathering too much. Let's give it a run. So you see that packs my assets, and then tries to sync to the SD card. Yeah, synced. This is all the usual Dream SDK stuff here. Oh, that's not. CRT TVs for you. Yeah, so what I've got on here so far, I've got a nice 3D world. Robot, he's got a few moves, nice animations. If I can hold the buttons whilst I'm. Yeah, I've got the shadows on there. I've got the floors, grounding resolutions there. Put some culling in yesterday. Did a flip. There you go. Yeah, not a lot really happening yet, but it's a solid foundation, and all of the assets and whatnot, they're loaded in the game, they're reference counted and all of that, and they can be unloaded between scenes. So let's try and change to one of my test scenes I had before. Fixed a crash when changing scenes over the weekend as well. So yeah, this was just a test scene I've had before. It's unloaded everything that it had there. Don't know if you can go, whoa gosh, that's a sound effect when the brain rot hits the crate. So the sound effects are all loaded from OGG into the Ica. They're ready to go. So yeah, I'll be putting some sound effects into the game soon over the top of the music. And if you can hear, that's the same tune what I had on a record a second ago. Yeah, not a whole lot else other than some systems for interacting between entities and stuff. I'm just using 2D versions of it here, but the collision checks and stuff, they come in for the 3D stuff later. Obviously text, you can see text there. I think that's a font that I found on free game assets. But yeah, I'm trying to build this scalably, and it should exit cleanly. Oh yeah, widescreen support. Yeah, so you can switch between the aspects. That should actually work in the 3D as well. I need to plug that in, yeah. See if it exits.